Hello and welcome to another edition of the NRS Insights Podcast. I'm John Lofstock, and I am very happy today to be joined by Ethan Rasiel, who is the CEO and co-founder of Lightspeed PR, and really one of the, in my world anyway, one of the preeminent experts on technology. Ethan, for those of you who don't know, and none of you probably do, has been working with technology and computers since what, the 30s and 40s?
Yeah, since the Eisenhower administration. Yes, that's right.
When I first met Ethan, I was hearing retailers talk about computers and how we're going to invest in such and such. And Ethan was like, "Well, here's how they're going to do it," because he already knew he was one step ahead. So I've always appreciated your insights. So I'm glad you're joining us today. Um, the conversation though has shifted from how to build a computer in your basement, the good old days, but to this new smart technology, how and AI and how AI is changing in our world. We're looking at how it's changing retail. But first, if I could ask, can you give me kind of an overview of how AI, in your view, is changing just businesses and the way companies go to market these days?
Yeah, well, it is a big thing, and everybody is kind of pretty excited or terrified. I and there's good reasons for both. You can use it to really improve performance of your business. So I'll give you some examples. The three kind of the main ways that AI is changing business. I'll give it to you at kind of a high level.
Hmm.
Uh, Number one, it's making companies faster. So you can do instantly what used to take a week, and you can do in a week what used to take a year. So it's just increasing your speed. And my company is called Lightspeed. So you can imagine that we're all over that. We can
Hmm.
actually deliver on the promise of our brand in a way that before we were faking it, but now we are really Lightspeed.
Well, let me ask, and doing it with that speed, you could do it with fewer people, with a smaller
Yeah,
staff. So if you have a chain or a store, a company with 10 employees, now AI can help you act like a business with 30 employees.
yeah. And the way that I like to think of it is it's not so much that AI is taking away jobs, it's just making each job have superpowers.
Hmm.
So you can do things that are one step above what you could do before. And then that person who's above you can do, stuff that's above them and so on. So if you're a small, say you're a small retail chain, I mean, I'm going to talk about retail a little bit because I know that a lot of your listeners are in the retail space, but the small chains can now do things that only the big chains could do before. So it gives them abilities to act like they're much bigger as an organization.
Okay. And now we talk when you look at like marketing plans, and I will get into more labor specific or more retail specific things like labor scheduling and forecasting. But
Yeah.
um, in terms of being acting like a bigger company, is that marketing? I mean, you can ask. I'll just use ChatGPT as an example. There's so many different opportunities now, but you could literally tell ChatGPT, "This is what I do. Put together a marketing plan for the next 6 months," and it will come up with a solution. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. So what your audience needs to know, first of all, like something that's a little confusing is that there's basically two kinds of AI.
Hmm.
And you may have heard these terms, but there's generative AI, Gen AI, and then there's agentic AI. And the big difference is that generative AI, which is what ChatGPT is, it's super powered Google. You can do research with it, or it can create documents for you. But everything it does lives within that little window. Nothing can ever go outside the window. It's just a back and forth. You say something, it says something. You say something, it says something. As soon as you graduate to the agentic AI, that's where it can do things for you. So you could say, book my flight, and it'll go to delta.com and buy the tickets. It can even make phone calls for you. So it can actually do things, not just give you a document. So once you start using those more powerful tools, it's not just about give me a marketing plan, but execute the marketing plan.
This is like RoboCop.
It's crazy. Yeah.
What are some of the platforms for say it again? I'm not familiar with that term.
Agentic, yeah.
Agentic.
Yeah, agent, I see, agentic. And so that's the AI that can do stuff. I don't want to recommend any specific tools. And the reason for that is I'm still figuring out the best ones.
Mm-hmm.
But I would love anybody who wants to do a deeper dive, shoot me an email and I'll give you some more custom advice. That's Ethan at lightspeedpr.com. I'm happy to get into the specific, recommendations.
Are you seeing businesses delve into this already, or are they still using generative AI?
They're delving into it. Like what? And well, I will mention one of my clients, one of the companies that I work with. I'll do a little promotion here, but They're called Deepen AI. Deepen, DEEPEN.ai. And they're using AI to train autonomous vehicles to see better. Because you have to go to get your eyeglasses, your prescription every year, but cars don't. But this is that for cars, so they can get their vision checked and make sure they don't crash. And they're using AI to do it.
That's pretty cool because you've probably seen this as well with retailers. We call it the last mile in convenience retailing, in trying to deliver the product, that last mile to customers. And 7-Eleven experimented with drone delivery, and these driverless cars, I guess. I don't like that term driverless because it's being driven by somebody or something. These non-human driven cars are being looked at as another opportunity to deliver that last mile. It brings up liability issues, though, what they're using. I mean, there's all sorts of things that will be questioned over the next year or two. But I mean, that's a fascinating thing. Are there companies that I know there are companies that are trying to put together driverless fleets? But is this this technology then, I guess, is trying to perfect that?
Yeah, right. And so the term they like to use, because you're right, driverless there is a driver.
Yeah.
But the preferred term is autonomous.
Autonomous.
So it's being driven by a robot, basically. And yes, they're working on not only driverless, not only cars, but aviation as well. You mentioned drones, but they're also looking at even passenger, replacing your 747 pilot with the robot.
So am I allowed to laugh at that? I'm sorry, I'm not.
You can laugh at it, and that's the funny thing. Like if I told you that your Uber was going to be driven by a robot 5 years ago, you would have laughed at that. But that's happening.
Well, I've only done that once. I did it in Las Vegas. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to get into a car. Elon Musk.
I'm not doing that.
Elon Musk has a company called, ironically, the Boring Company, which is a great name because what it does is bore underground. And they did a portion in Las Vegas that connects the casinos to the hotel. I don't know if you've seen this. And
I've done the Vegas tunnel.
Okay, good.
It was driven by a person, but it was the underground tunnel, and it's pretty cool. It's fun.
It's by Tesla, so it was probably in a Tesla because,
of course,
yes, it needs to be an electric car for underground like that for exhaust fumes. But mine was autonomous, and it didn't go more than 15 miles an hour. But I literally was holding on to the door and had my escape route planned at all times. I couldn't imagine getting on a plane and hearing, hello, this is your computer speaking. It would drive me crazy. But I guess, right, in the 20s, if people said eventually you'll be able to drive to California in a car, they would have laughed at them.
Yeah. And if you think about all the crashes from pilot error, you might start to think about maybe just putting a robot in charge is with a person as a backup might be better. And that's what you're going to say.
And yeah, I guess they kind of do some of that right now. Pilots engage autopilot probably at cruising altitude anyway.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Autopilot will be AI. Autopilots today are more just programs, simple programs. But imagine an autopilot that you could have a conversation with in plain English, and you'd have AI.
All right.
Coming soon.
Yeah. Well, let's bring it back. I think one of the reasons why I wanted to speak to you was because I think you're working with this company. I'm not sure if you were working with them or you were just telling me about them, but there is another company that is able to use some intelligence to track out heat maps and where customers go in the store, and even predict to a certain extent what customers are going to purchase. And for retailers, that's kind of like the holy grail of understanding your customers.
Yeah, that's Alki Labs. That's the one I was telling you about. And they have a platform called Cactus. So you should check out there's a great YouTube video. Just Google on Alki, AUKI, Alki Labs, and Cactus. And so, yeah, those kinds of heat maps are really powerful. But one of the things that retailers are doing, I'll give you an example of the kinds of superpowers that they have. One of the big changes that AI is making possible is just to analyze the data you already have. And what I'm talking about is your receipts. So imagine you're running a convenience store or a retail store, and you have these reams and reams of all these records of what everybody bought.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do with that, with all those records? So you feed that into AI. Now, Walmart and the big chains are already doing this, but now anybody can do it. And you could say, what are people buying? When are they buying it? And what you do is, the whole point is to make sure you never sell out of stock. It's to have stock, to reduce, to improve accuracy of inventory. So, for example, you might find that after payday, after the 15th or after the 30th, certain products sell more. Or maybe certain times of the day or certain times of the week, certain products sell more. So you can come up with these trends that your AI will give you.
And you can feed that into AI. You can ask AI, identify anomalies, or identify, what's selling, what are my top pairings, for example. Because I think people will always be surprised that you'll be selling a 20-ounce bottle of soda, and then, not a candy bar, but a power bar instead, or something like that, to point those out. And you could develop promotions and planogramming and putting those items more close together to increase sales.
That's right. And what you could do that's really even more cool is you could do tests.
Mm-hmm.
So again, if you're Walmart or Wawa or something like that, they take a city, and they, a lot of times it's like in Syracuse, because the demographics map the whole country. You know this more than I do.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll launch a new product and do a test.
Of course.
Well, now anybody can do that using AI, and you can simulate what it would have been for the whole country. So you test out the product, and then feed all of your receipts into AI, and it tells you if it was successful or not.
Yeah, retailers have been doing that. There's a rumor, and I've never confirmed whether this is true or not, but this is kind of like C-store industry folklore. The Anheuser-Busch has a product called Clamato. Have you ever seen the the beer, Budweiser beer with clam juice in it, called Clamato?
You've probably seen it on it right now.
Yeah, that's that can next to you. Is that what you're drinking? So the rumor has it that 7-Eleven used to do these tests where they would look at their receipts and see what was selling. And they saw that in their urban markets with their Hispanic customers, that people were buying a 24-ounce can of Budweiser and a can of clam juice. And they were like, what's going on with this? And it was happening over and over and over, dozens and dozens of times a month. They started talking to customers, and they found out that Hispanic customers buy a can. They like the clam. And it was such a big trend that they developed the product and mixed it together, and it's one of their top sellers. So there's, proof that why this is so important for retailers.
Right. So, and there was a big retailer who figured that out, but now anybody could figure that out with AI. And not only the pairings, but repeat purchase. You can test price sensitivity. What happens if you lower the price? What impact does it have? Or if you raise the price? Mm-hmm. Where it was in the store, like with those heat maps, if that led to increased sales. So you can test out all different things and see what the results are. So you get a huge profit out of that. Price
elasticity is something that the industry talks about all the time. And Walmart does such a great job with it. And C-stores, the bigger chains do, but the smaller chains have never been able to have the manpower to do it. So, if you could see no drop off in a soda at $2.99 versus $2.89, you need to be at $2.99. That's all there is to it, just because
Yeah.
it will help your margin, will help sales. And now, hopefully, like you said, hopefully this software will help, this technology will help small chains get there.
Yeah. And then if you use agentic AI, it can actually just place orders of products for you. So if you're running low on inventory on something, or if it thinks, like, for example, you know that if the weather gets warmer, you're going to sell more suntan lotion, right? Or you're going to sell more ice cream, or you're going to sell more batteries for portable fans. So imagine if your AI would just restock for you based on what the weather will be next week.
And it sends you an alert. We've ordered this.
It sends you an alert. We've ordered this. You just got to put it on the shelf, or have your robot do it if you have one of those.
When I had the NAG conference, we brought in a company about 4 or 5 years ago that had a robot that stocked shelves and went around the store, and it was pretty cool. It just was not. I mean, this was, like I said, 5 years ago. The price wasn't there, and it was kind of big and bulky, but it was really cool what the thing could do. And there's the company up in Boston. Is it Boston Dynamics, or who's the one that creates the robots?
Yeah, that's it. Boston Dynamics. They look like little dogs. Yeah.
Have you seen but their robot, it's running and jumping. It is RoboCop. It's here.
I was at a conference in Germany where they had a soccer match played by robots.
Are you serious?
And it's pretty funny because they when they fall over, it takes them. They get up, and it takes them like 30 seconds. They very slowly like stand up again. But they're kicking the ball and playing, and they can see each other and doing plays and all that stuff. So yeah, they're doing incredible things.
And they don't stay down like soccer players when they get tripped. They don't stay down and pretend like they've been shot. I'm a hockey player, so I got to take shots at soccer.
One more thing I wanted to mention about data. The key thing with AI is, again, like the big takeaway that anybody can use is AI can help you get more information from the data that you already have.
Mm-hmm.
So I was talking about feeding your receipts in, but another area of data that companies aren't fully utilizing is their customer service logs. So if you have customers calling in when they want to return something, return a product, or get help, you have recordings, hours and hours and hours of recordings of customer service logs. So what you then do is you take those logs, you feed them into AI, and it gives you some insights that you never would have had. And no one has time to sit and listen to all this, but the AI will be happy to do that for you.
So you can actually run those through and find out what are the top 5 complaints that we're getting from people.
And then fix it, or fix the manual so they don't have to call. Or even or it can tell you what the upsell should be, because when people call, a lot of times it's this product, I need this other feature, and the agent says, well, here are the features they want. You can give that information to the sales clerk, who can say, people are constantly calling and saying they wish they bought this one. You should just buy it now. So you're doing an upsell based on your customer service data. So everything should drive sales in the end.
And wow, what you said triggered what Amazon does now. I don't know when Amazon added it, but they have their reviews. This is a frequently returned item, or people have said this about that item.
Yes.
It's a pretty cool feature.
That's all AI driven. So, of course, now anybody can do what Amazon does. You don't have to be Amazon to do the same thing.
Oh, man. This is good stuff. All right. So I know you're always looking forward. That's why I like talking to you. You're always telling me about stuff that we're going to hear about in 5 years. So what's next? What should retailers, AI, of course, included, but what should we be keeping an eye on? Where do you see this all going, say, in the next, 4 or 5 years?
Well, what a lot of people are doing is you have this trend where people walk into a store and then they pull out their phone and look at competitors before they buy. And a lot of times they'll use the store just for shopping, just for browsing, but the transaction is done on the phone.
Is that price? Because of price? Or they're looking for it cheaper? Or?
Price, they're looking for reviews, they're looking for, who has maybe a different color that they want. So they might walk into, it happens a lot at like Best Buy. They just look at all the different washing machines or TVs, and then they look at their phone. Oh, Amazon has it for less. Let me buy it there. this trend is going to accelerate. So if you have a retail store, you need to be aware of this, and you need to be doing that yourself and simulating what experience people will have. Every product in your store, look on your phone and see what comes up if you search it. If somebody else has a more attractive model or a better SKU or a better price, you need to match that before you lose that sale.
And I imagine this is not so much a technology thing, but going along and monitoring what AI is saying about your brand. If you have this technology, like if your product's sold on Amazon for supplier partners, you should be aware of what people are saying about your product and start changing some of those if you're getting negative reviews or something like that, because the PR part of this can't be underestimated either.
Yeah, that's really important. And we call that social listening, right? And so we do this for a lot of our clients where it's actually, tying it together. We've used AI a lot to help us with this, because until we had these tools, somebody would be literally like sitting in Instagram and TikTok and Facebook and just, literally reading the comments. And now we can just tell the AI, monitor this and give us an alert if somebody has a complaint. We can go in there and respond, or it'll just respond for us. We're sorry that you've had this. By the way, if you look at, it's pretty funny, but if you go to any social media site right now for your favorite brand and look at the comments, and there's going to be responses, those responses are all AI created now. They're not even done by a person.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And the trick is to do it well. I'm having one of the big downsides of this is a lot of my clients, they're using AI to create garbage content that looks like AI. Do you want to know the biggest giveaway for how you know that content is created with AI?
I know. Well, I know mine as a writer.
What's yours?
Dashes. AI uses dashes all the time.
That's right. Specifically the M dash.
Yes.
The long dash.
Yes. Yep.
For some reason, especially ChatGPT, but also the other platforms, they love to use those long dashes that aren't even on the keyboard, so nobody could type them. Only a computer could use it. So those dashes, yeah, you're savvy to that one. And the other one is the little emojis and the bullets. But there are tools that you can use. I recommend originality.ai.
Okay.
So if you go to originality.ai, you can paste any content in there. It'll tell you if it's AI or human.
Get out of here.
Yes. And my clients do press releases, and they send it to me, and I paste it in there. It's AI generated. I say, look, we want genuine human stuff. There still is a need for human beings to write quality content. As you know, as a journalist, we need humans to be still putting their creativity into this. So that's a big takeaway: is don't abuse it. Use AI for research, use it for insights, use it for giving you a draft or an outline, but don't use it for final copy that you're going to publish. It's not good enough. And so write your own content, please.
It's not going to pass the smell test with experienced people.
Yeah.
Well, good. Ethan, I always learn a lot when I speak with you, so I can't thank you enough. This was awesome. And I'm sure I'll be reaching out again in a few months to update this and do some more. So thank you. All right. So for Ethan Rasiel, I'm John Lofstock. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we look forward to having you on another NRS Insights podcast. Have a good afternoon, everyone.